right, get ready, because today we're going deep on something pretty fascinating. 75 Hard. We're going to break down Andy Frisella's book, to really understand this whole program and how it can, well, how it can help anyone build that unshakable mental toughness. I think our listeners are already familiar with the basics, so we're going to skip right to the good stuff.
It's interesting how 75 Hard really changes how we think about mental toughness, It's not just for like elite athletes or soldiers. It's a skill, really, that anyone can develop.
Exactly. And Andy Frisella, the guy behind it all, is an interesting character himself. I mean, you might know him from his, well, kind of blunt, no-nonsense style on his podcasts, right? Like the MSCEO Project.
Oh, for sure.
That directness, I think, comes from a life where he's had to, really hustle. He built a very successful supplement company from nothing. And he's talked about facing some weight issues when he was younger. And he even survived a stabbing incident.
All those experiences, I think, really solidified his belief in mental resilience as that cornerstone of achievement and really fulfillment. Frisella saw a pattern. He saw that a lot of those traditional self-help programs, they often fail because they don't address the real root cause, which is mental strength.
Mm.
It's kind of like trying to be really good at some demanding physical thing, without actually conditioning your body.
That's a really good analogy.
Thanks.
Like you might start strong, but you're gonna falter pretty quickly.
Exactly. Frisella's big aha moment came when he realized that, true satisfaction doesn't come from taking it easy, but from pushing your boundaries, really, accomplishing things that you initially thought, maybe were even impossible. So he designed 75. Hard to cultivate that mental toughness in a systematic way, not just to offer that fleeting motivation.
Interesting. So tell me about this boss versus bitch voice thing that Priscilla talks about.
It's pretty compelling. Frisella says that we all have these two competing internal dialogues, right? The boss voice that pushes us toward growth and discipline and getting out of our comfort zones. And then the bitch voice that whispers, negativity and excuses and just always wants to take the easy way out. He says that being able to recognize and choose which voice to listen to, that's really important for success.
I like that, that boss versus bitch voice thing. It's kind of like, it's almost like a modern take on that classic angel and devil on your shoulder imagery, right? But Frisella makes it practical. So how does 75 Hard actually put this internal battle to the test?
The program gives you 5 tasks, 5 things you absolutely have to do every single day for 75 days straight. And there's a catch. If you slip up, if you compromise even once, you have to go all the way back to day 1. That strictness really forces you to confront that bitch voice head on.
Okay, so break down these 5 tasks for us. I'm intrigued. What's the reasoning behind them?
Okay, so first, you pick a diet, any diet you want, and you stick to it completely, no exceptions, for all 75 days. This is not about specific dietary advice. It's more about developing discipline in a really basic area of life, right? Second, you have to drink a gallon of water every day. Now, of course, hydration is crucial for your physical health, but Frisella also gives water the symbolic meaning. He relates it to purification, renewal, transformation.
Hmm.
Then you have to do 2 45-minute workouts each day. One of them has to be outside, no matter what. This does 2 things. It helps you change physically, which kind of mirrors the mental changes you're going through. But doing a workout outside, that teaches you to be adaptable, to be resilient.
Wow, 2 workouts a day.
Yeah.
I could already feel my bitch voice starting to complain. All right, what are the last 2?
Okay, the 4th one is reading 10 pages every day from a nonfiction book, something about entrepreneurship or personal development. It's all about engaging your mind, learning new things and getting better at focusing.
Makes sense.
And finally, the 5th task, you have to take a progress picture every single day.
That's an interesting one. Is that just to track physical changes, or is there something deeper going on?
It's a lot deeper than that. Taking a picture every day, it's like a physical reminder of your commitment. You see the progress, even the small stuff that you might not notice otherwise. And it's also a way to fight that bitch voice that tries to sabotage you.
Pleasure. It's like a visual affirmation of your dedication, and a very powerful tool for holding yourself accountable, I guess. So we've got the 5 pillars of 75 Hard. Now, what about the emotional and psychological journey, that someone might go through doing this? Frisella has these 8 areas of 75 Hard to map out that potential internal roller coaster. Can you talk about that progression?
Sure, you can think of it as going through different phases. It starts with this burst of excitement and maybe some confusion as you get used to this demanding routine, you know? Around day 8, you hit what he calls the danger zone. That's where the temptation to quit is the strongest, and that bitch voice really starts to attack.
It's like that tough first hill in a marathon, isn't it? Where your willpower is really put to the test. How do you get through that tough part and come out on top?
Well, one way is to remember your why. Why did you start this in the first place? What are you trying to accomplish? Tapping into that deeper purpose can really give you fuel when you're feeling weak. Another thing is to plan for those weak moments, to anticipate them. Figure out what your triggers are and come up with strategies like write yourself a pep talk or create a playlist of music that pumps you up or even just talk to a friend who supports you.
That's smart. Being proactive instead of reactive. Giving yourself the tools to stay on track, even when those doubts and cravings pop up. So what happens after you conquer that danger zone?
Well, if you keep going, you get to a point where you make fewer excuses and you start to experience what Frisella calls the manifestation. Your confidence goes way up and you really start to believe that you can do anything you set your mind to. Your focus sharpens, good habits become almost automatic, and you get into this state of flow.
Sounds pretty empowering. But then there's that excitement wall phase. Why does motivation dip and how do you deal with that?
It's a natural plateau. Happens around day 50. The excitement might fade a little, but your dedication that stays strong. It's like hitting that wall in the middle of a marathon where you need all your mental strength to keep going. Remembering why you started and how far you've come, that can really help you push through. And if you do conquer this phase, Frisella calls the final stage going into God mode. This is where you really see the full benefits of mental toughness. You're operating on a whole new level.
God mode. Wow. So we've covered a lot here, the core ideas and that emotional roller coaster of 75 hard. Before we dig into each of those 5 tasks specifically, what are some of the biggest takeaways for you from looking at Frisella's approach?
What I find really interesting is how he challenges the idea that mental toughness is about being harsh on yourself or suppressing your emotions. He sees it as a combination of discipline, self-awareness, and making conscious choices. Basically training your mind like you would train your body.
Right.
He really emphasizes consistency, commitment, and never compromising on what you want to achieve.
It's about changing how you talk to yourself, right? Empowering that boss voice. It's about understanding that discomfort and struggle, they're not the enemy. They're what help you grow. It's about moving from a mindset of avoiding things to a mindset of embracing challenges and exceeding your own limits. But remember, this is just scratching the surface of what Frisella talks about. There's a lot more to discover in his book, and I really encourage everyone to check it out.
I totally agree. We've laid the groundwork here, understanding the basic principles. Now let's dive into each of those 5 tasks and see what kind of wisdom is hidden within them. All right, let's unpack that first task. Sticking to a diet you choose for 75 days straight, absolutely no cheating.
This seems pretty simple at first glance. What's the real goal here? Is it just about losing weight?
It goes beyond just losing weight. Frisella says this task is about building discipline in a very fundamental area, our relationship with food. It's about making conscious decisions and sticking to them, even when you're tempted or it's just easier not to.
So training that boss voice to be in charge when it comes to food choices.
Right. It's about overcoming those impulsive cravings and making your actions match your long-term goals.
What if someone's already eating healthy? Do they still need to change things up for 75 hard?
Frisella suggests picking a diet that actually requires effort, that pushes you out of your comfort zone rather than just keeping things the same. He personally tried carb cycling during his 75 hard, switching between high, moderate, low, and no carb days. This kept his metabolism on its toes and gave him the energy he needed for all those workouts.
I see. So consistency and pushing your limits are what's important here. Let's move on to the second task, drinking a gallon of water a day. We know hydration is important, but what's the deeper meaning in the context of 75 hard?
There's some powerful symbolism tied to water. Frisella connects it to purification, renewal, and even transformation. He emphasizes how much this seemingly small act can affect both our physical and mental well-being.
I like that. It's like cleansing yourself from the inside out, both physically and mentally. It reminds us that even little things, if you do them consistently, like staying hydrated, can lead to big changes over time. All right, let's tackle that third task, the one that seems particularly tough. 2 45-minute workouts every day, with one having to be outside.
This task really makes you push past what you think you're capable of and forces you to face any discomfort you might feel about working hard.
So it's not just about getting in shape. What's the thinking behind making this a requirement?
Frisella believes there's a strong link between transforming our bodies and transforming our minds. As we challenge our bodies, our minds become stronger too. And making one of those workouts an outdoor one, well, that teaches us to adapt and be resilient no matter what the weather throws at us.
It's about showing up and doing the work, rain or shine. Now, on to the fourth task, which seems a bit more mentally engaging, reading 10 pages a day from a nonfiction book, something about entrepreneurship or personal growth. What's the specific reason for including this in 75 Hard?
It's about keeping your mind active and learning more in areas that promote personal growth. Frisella emphasizes active reading, highlighting key idea, and making connections to your own life and goals.
So, challenging yourself intellectually and finding valuable insights that you can use in your own life. All right, now for that last task, the one that seems a little, well, unusual. Taking a progress picture every single day. I understand the motivation behind tracking physical changes, but is there something more to it than just that?
There's definitely more to it. While it's motivating to see how your body changes, the real purpose is to appreciate the small things, the everyday consistency that we often miss. It's about holding yourself accountable even when you don't see big results right away.
It's like a visual record of your commitment, of the progress you're making bit by bit, even if it's subtle. It's about enjoying the journey, not just focusing on the destination. And it's about recognizing that those consistent small actions, they actually add up to something big. It's a good reminder to focus on long-term rewards rather than just instant gratification. Now let's zoom out a little and address a common question. What happens if you slip up? Is there any flexibility in 75 Hard? Can you make adjustments?
Frisella is very firm on the no compromise rule. If you deviate from any of the 5 tasks, no matter how small, you have to go back to day one.
That's pretty stick. But I can see how that unwavering commitment builds mental toughness. It's not about being perfect, but about learning from mistakes and starting again with even more determination. What advice would you give someone who's feeling some internal resistance, who's hesitant to start 75 Hard because they're not sure if they can stick with it?
I'd tell them to pay attention to those feelings of hesitation and figure out if it's fear or intuition. Fear often comes from those negative beliefs and that bitch voice we talked about, trying to keep them in their comfort zone. Intuition, though, that's a deeper knowing, a gut feeling that maybe something isn't right for them at this moment.
So figuring out if the hesitation is a real warning sign or just self-doubt talking? What if it's the latter? How can they change how they think about failure?
What if, instead of seeing failure as weakness, they saw it as a chance to grow and learn? What if they looked at those stumbles as valuable information that can guide them toward a path that's more fulfilling and more authentic to who they are?
It's about moving away from fear and embracing curiosity and experimentation. Recognizing that growth isn't always a straight line. It can be messy, unpredictable, with lots of twists and turns. But those experiences are how we build resilience and wisdom to handle life's challenges. Now let's revisit those 8 eras of 75 Hard. Can you tell us more about each phase, starting with Era 1, deep excitement and disorientation? What can someone expect during those first 7 days?
It's like stepping into a whole new world where you choose to push past your limits and embrace a higher level of discipline. There's a rush of excitement, a sense of possibility and determination. But there's also confusion as you adapt to this challenging routine and the inevitable obstacles you'll face.
A mix of enthusiasm and a little bit of, what did I get myself into?
Exactly. It's important to recognize and appreciate both of those feelings. The excitement gives you motivation, and the confusion reminds you to be patient with yourself as you adjust. It's about finding that balance between pushing yourself and honoring your own pace. Now let's move on to Era 2, which covers days 8 to 14, discovery, discipline, and the danger zone, what usually happens during this critical time.
The initial excitement might start to wear off as the reality of the commitment sets in. This is when the temptation to quit gets really strong, and that bitch voice goes into overdrive, whispering doubts and trying to lure you back to the easy path. It's like hitting that first big hill in a marathon, where your willpower is truly tested. What are some ways to navigate this danger zone and come out stronger?
Remembering your why is crucial. Why did you choose to start this journey? What are you fighting to overcome or achieve? Connecting with that deeper purpose can really fuel you when your willpower is low. Another important strategy is to anticipate those moments of weakness and have a plan to overcome them. Identify your triggers and come up with strategies like writing yourself a pep talk, creating a playlist of songs that empower you, or simply talking to a friend who supports you.
So it's about being proactive, not reactive. Giving yourself the tools to stay on course even when those doubts and cravings creep in. Every challenge you overcome is a victory, a sign of your growing mental strength. What happens after you successfully navigate their danger zone?
Well, when you consistently overcome those initial hurdles, you experience a significant shift in your mindset. Excuses fade away, and they're replaced by a feeling of empowerment and control. You realize you have more power over your thoughts and actions than you thought. This newfound sense of agency fuels your progress and spills over into all areas of your life. You start tackling challenges with renewed confidence and determination, and your progress really takes off.
Exponential escalation, that sounds pretty exciting. But you also mentioned that this is where some people might give up. Why is that?
While this era is a turning point for many, it's also where some might struggle and decide to quit the program. That initial excitement might have faded, and the long-term commitment might feel overwhelming. Or maybe they haven't fully embraced the power of 75 hard and are still battling self-doubt.
That makes sense. Change can be intimidating, and it's not the right fit for everyone. But for those who push through this era, it seems like it opens the door to an incredible transformation. Now let's move on to Era 4, which covers days 22 to 28, more massive transformation, and the moment of manifestation. What can someone expect during this time?
The momentum you've built starts to have a snowball effect, leading to even bigger changes in your thoughts and behavior. You start to truly embody the qualities you've been working on: discipline, resilience, self-belief, and that unwavering dedication to your goals. This era often culminates in what Frisella calls the moment of manifestation. It's a point where you step into a new level of confidence and self-assurance, realizing you've become the person you set out to be.
That sounds incredibly empowering. It's like that scene in a superhero movie where the hero finally embraces their full potential and steps into their power. Let's dive into Era 5, which encompasses days 29 to 35. Focus, fearlessness, and the flow state. What happens during this period of heightened awareness and effortless action?
As you continue to push your limits and overcome obstacles consistently, you enter a state of heightened focus and clarity. Fear takes a backseat, and it's replaced by a sense of fearlessness and a willingness to embrace the unknown. This newfound resilience allows you to tap into the flow state, a state of effortless action and heightened creativity.
Ah, the flow state, that elusive state where time seems to disappear and you're completely absorbed in the moment. It sounds almost magical.
It can be. While you can't force it, it becomes more accessible as you develop mental toughness and learn to quiet that inner voice of self-doubt and worry.
It's about cultivating a mindset that allows for those moments of effortless action and inspired creativity to emerge. Let's move on to Era 6, which spans days 36 to 49. Alignment, automation, and anticipation. What typically happens during this period of integration and refinement?
All the hard work you've been putting in begins to show real results. Your aspirations and goals start to align with your actions and habits. The positive routines you've established become almost automatic, requiring less conscious effort.
It's like those healthy habits become ingrained in your daily routine, second nature.
Exactly. And as those positive patterns become more effortless, you start to look forward to the future. You no longer dread challenges or fear setbacks. Instead, you embrace them as opportunities to grow and continue pushing yourself to new heights. It's about transitioning from a mindset of resistance and struggle to one of excitement and anticipation for what lies ahead.
Now let's explore Era 7, which covers days 50 to 63, earned expertise and the excitement lull. This phase seems to encompass a sense of accomplishment and a potential dip in motivation. What happens during this time?
By this point, you've consistently shown up and done the work for over 50 days. You've overcome countless obstacles and developed a level of mental toughness that few people possess. You've earned the right to call yourself an expert in discipline, resilience, and self-belief.
That's a powerful realization, acknowledging and honoring the journey you've taken and the amazing progress you've made.
However, this era often coincides with the excitement lull. That initial thrill of the challenge might have faded. The finish line is still a couple of weeks away.
It's like hitting that wall in the middle of a marathon where you have to summon all your mental strength to keep going.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that this lull is a natural part of the process. It doesn't take away from your achievements or your commitment. It simply prompts you to reconnect with your why and tap back into the deeper reasons that motivated you to take on this challenge in the first place.
It's about recognizing that motivation ebbs and flows, and finding ways to maintain your commitment even when that initial excitement fades. Finally, let's delve into the last phase, Era 8, which spans days 64 to 75, going into God mode. What can someone expect during this final stretch, the culmination of all the effort and transformation?
This is where you truly embody the power of mental toughness. You operate with a level of clarity, focus, and resilience that you never thought possible. Self-doubt and fear no longer hold you back. You face challenges with unwavering confidence and determination, knowing that you have the tools and the mindset to overcome any obstacle.
It's like reaching the summit of a mountain and looking out at the world from a completely new perspective, and this newfound strength and clarity, They don't stay confined to the 75 hard program, right? They spill over into every area of your life.
You're absolutely right. You approach challenges with newfound agency and an unshakable belief in your ability to succeed. It's about integrating those transformative lessons and carrying that mental fortitude with you as you continue on life's journey. The journey doesn't end on day 75. It's a lifelong commitment to growth and realizing your potential.
It's about embracing the power of mental toughness as a guiding force in all areas of your life. Now, we've talked about the emotional, psychological aspects of each era, but let's address a common concern. What about the potential physical toll of 75 hard? 2 workouts a day for 75 days straight sounds incredibly demanding. What are the potential risks, and how can someone minimize them?
That's a good point. It's essential to approach 75 hard with a balance of discipline and self-care. While pushing your boundaries is encouraged, listening to your body, making rest and recovery a priority, and consulting with healthcare professionals if you have any underlying health conditions is equally important.
It's about finding that sweet spot between pushing your limits and respecting your body's signals. Remember, this program is about mental toughness, not about recklessly ignoring your physical well-being. It's about empowering yourself to make informed decisions that support both your physical and mental health. It's not a competition with others. It's a personal journey of self-discovery and growth. Setting your own pace, respecting your individual needs and limitations, and celebrating your unique progress, those are all key.
You're spot on. It's about shifting the focus from comparison and competition to self-compassion and celebrating those personal victories along the way. Now, let's address another common concern: time constraints. What if someone simply doesn't have the time in their day to commit to this program? How can they overcome those logistical hurdles and fit 75 hards into their already busy schedule?
That's a valid challenge, and it requires a shifted perspective and a commitment to prioritizing your goals. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's about making deliberate choices about how we use that time and making sure our actions align with our priorities.
It might mean adjusting your routine, maybe waking up earlier, making better use of your lunch break, or delegating certain tasks to create space for those 75 hard commitments.
It's about being resourceful and finding those pockets of time that you can dedicate to your personal growth. It's about changing your mindset from "I don't have enough time" to "I'm making time for what matters most to me." It's about embracing that empowering belief that you're in control of your schedule and you're capable of making room for your priorities.
Exactly. Even small adjustments, if you make them consistently, can lead to significant changes in your daily life and open up new possibilities for growth and accomplishment.
We've explored the philosophy, the core principles, the potential benefits, and the challenges of 75 hard. Now, I want to bring our focus back to the man behind it all, Andy Frisella. We've discussed his philosophy and the ideas behind 75 hard, but let's delve into his personal story and try to understand what led him to create this program. What can you tell us about his background and the experiences that shaped his perspective on mental toughness?
His story is really inspiring. It's about resilience and determination. He faced many challenges growing up, including struggles with his weight, financial difficulties, and even a near-death experience when he was stabbed.
Surviving a stabbing, that's a traumatic experience. I can only imagine how much that would impact someone's outlook on life.
It says a lot about his inner strength and his refusal to let those difficult times define him. Through those experiences, he gained a deep understanding of how crucial mental toughness is for overcoming adversity and achieving success. He really lives by the principles he teaches, and his personal story serves as a powerful inspiration for anyone looking to build greater resilience and strength.
It reminds us that mental toughness isn't about being invincible or never facing challenges. It's about developing that inner strength to push through difficult times and come out stronger on the other side. Now, let's touch upon another aspect of 75 Hard, the community that's grown around it. What can you tell us about this community and the role it plays in supporting people's success?
The 75 Hard community is a great example of the power of shared experiences and mutual support. People from all walks of life come together to share their struggles, celebrate their wins, and offer encouragement to one another.
It's like having a built-in support system to keep you motivated and accountable throughout the journey.
You got it. And what's really great is that it doesn't end after the 75 days. Many people form lasting friendships and continue to support each other as they navigate the ongoing challenges of personal growth. It's like creating a network of like-minded individuals, all striving to become the best versions of themselves. That sense of shared purpose and mutual support can be incredibly powerful and motivating.
We've covered a lot: the philosophy, the tasks, the potential benefits, and the challenges of 75 Hard. But why should someone even consider starting this journey? What's the most important takeaway?
I think the biggest takeaway is that mental toughness isn't some innate quality that only a few people have. It's skill that anyone can learn through effort and practice. 75 Hard, while it might not be for everyone, provides a structure for developing resilience, discipline, and self-belief that can significantly impact every area of your life.
Hmm.
Building mental toughness is more important now than ever before. We're constantly bombarded with distractions, instant gratification, and information overload. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and succumb to the pressures of modern life. Developing inner strength and resilience helps us navigate these challenges with grace, clarity, and a sense of purpose.
It's about taking back control of our lives and choosing to live more intentionally and meaningfully, even when things feel chaotic and uncertain. While 75 hard might not be the right choice for everyone, seeking mental toughness is valuable for anyone who wants to live a more empowered and fulfilling life.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to involve grand gestures or completely changing your life. It can start with small, consistent actions, those seemingly insignificant choices we make each day.
Can you give us some examples of practical steps someone can take today to strengthen their boss voice and develop mental toughness?
Sure, it could be something as simple as setting a challenging goal and sticking to it, even when things get tough. Or maybe stepping outside your comfort zone and trying something new that intimidates you. Or it could even be becoming more aware of how you talk to yourself, consciously replacing those negative, limiting beliefs with more empowering and encouraging thoughts.
Those are great starting points. It's about those small choices that, over time, can lead to big changes in our mindset and our ability to handle life's challenges. The journey of self-improvement is an ongoing one, a continuous process of learning, growing, and pushing past our perceived limits.
You're right. And who knows, maybe exploring 75 Hard has sparked something in you, a desire to dive deeper into this world of mental toughness and discover your own hidden potential.
I hope so. As Frisella wisely said, the most dangerous thing you can do in life is become complacent. So keep challenging yourself, keep pushing your boundaries, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
Now, as we wrap up our discussion of 75 Hard, let's condense the key takeaways into a clear 10-point summary. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Hit me with it.
Okay, number one, 75 Hard is a mental toughness program, not a weight loss program. It was created by entrepreneur and podcast host Andy Frisella. Two, it emphasizes the need to overcome that negative bitch voice in your head and embrace your boss voice to achieve what you want in life. Three, there are 5 essential tasks you have to complete every day for 75 days in a row, no exceptions. Four, these tasks include following a day that you choose, drinking a gallon of water every day, doing 2 45-minute workouts, one outside, reading 10 pages of a nonfiction book, and taking a progress picture. 5. This program is meant to be challenging. It's designed to push you past your comfort zone, helping you develop discipline, resilience, and self-belief.
Okay, got it. What about the next 5 takeaways?
6. When you consistently complete the tasks, you experience changes in your thoughts and feelings, and eventually you gain confidence and a strongest sense of purpose. 7. 75 Hard isn't quick fix. It's about creating lasting habits and developing a mindset that empowers you to achieve anything you set your mind to. 8. The no compromise rule is really important because it teaches you to be consistent and follow through on your commitments. 9. While it's physically demanding, the main focus of 75 Hard is on transforming your mind. The benefits go far beyond physical fitness. And last but not least, number 10. 75 Hard challenges you to become the best version of yourself by embracing those tough times and building unwavering mental strength.
Wow, what a journey we've been on. I think we've done a good job of exploring the 75 Hard program, looking at its nuances, challenges, and the potential it has to change your life. But ultimately, it's up to you, the listener, to decide if this is the right path for you and if you're ready to embark on this journey of mental transformation. No matter what you decide, I hope our discussion has inspired you to embrace the power of your mind and to keep searching for ways to grow, become more resilient, and live a more fulfilling life.
Until we meet again for another deep dive, keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
As we wrap up our look at 75 Hard, one thing that really stands out is how this program, even though it's built around these specific tasks, it ultimately comes down to a very simple question, right?
It makes us ask ourselves if we're really putting in the work to train our minds, just like we make time for physical exercise. Are we actually putting in the effort to strengthen our mental resilience, our discipline, and our self-belief?
That's a really powerful point. It's so easy to get caught up in everyday life and forget about that inner work, that mental conditioning that we need to face those inevitable challenges that life throws our way.
Exactly. And 75 Hard, with its unique and pretty demanding approach, it really forces you to face that question head on. It's like a mental boot camp, pushing you beyond what you think you can handle and showing you the strength you have inside.
I like that boot camp analogy. It's about shaking off that complacency and becoming a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. And those mental muscles you build during 75 Hard, they don't just disappear when the program's over, do they?
No, not at all.
They become a part of who you are, influencing how you approach every challenge in your life.
They do. They create this foundation of resilience and grit that helps you weather any storm. And while 75 hard might not be the right fit for everyone, that underlying message, that's something we can all apply to our lives.
Right.
We all have the ability to train our minds, to build that mental toughness and really unlock our full potential.
That's such an important reminder. It's a journey worth taking, no matter what program or method you chose. And it doesn't have to be about these big, sweeping changes, right? It can start with small, consistent things, those little choices we make every single day.
Absolutely. Like setting a difficult goal and sticking to it even when it gets hard, or maybe trying something new, something outside your comfort zone, something that maybe scares you a little, or even just becoming more aware of how you talk to yourself. Making a conscious effort to replace those limiting beliefs with thoughts that are more empowering and encouraging.
Those are really great places to start. It's those small choices that, when you add them up over time, can really change how we think and how we handle life's challenges. This whole journey of self-improvement, it's not a destination. It's an ongoing process. It's about constantly learning, growing, and pushing past what we think are our limits.
You're right. And, who knows? Maybe by exploring 75 hard together, we've planted a seed, spoked a little curiosity to dig deeper into this whole idea of mental toughness, and maybe discover some hidden potential within yourself.
I hope so. Frisella said it best, I think. The most dangerous thing you can do in life is become complacent. So keep challenging yourself, keep pushing those boundaries, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
And on that note, this concludes our deep dive into 75 hard.
It does.
We've covered a lot of ground here, from the philosophy behind it to the specific tasks, the potential benefits, the challenges, everything. But ultimately, the decision is yours, listener.
It is.
Does this path resonate with you? Are you ready to embark on this journey of mental fortitude? Whatever you decide, we hope that our exploration has lit a fire in you, inspired you to embrace the power of your mind.
To keep searching for ways to grow, to be more resilient, and to live a more fulfilling life.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
And until our next deep dive, keep doing all of that, listeners. We'll see you then. After 8